But more interesting stuff. Donald Trump in court. Fun. So this is the hearing.
Till Daddy pulled the T-bird away.
Yep. So this is this is the hearing about the him inflating the prices of his, or the values of his business, and then deflating it for the IRS. And so it's been going on, but it's just been pandemonium in the courtroom the last few days. Today's Thursday. He wasn't there today, but he did some stupid stuff this morning. Anyway.
Oh, no.
So the first day...
What happened while I was at work? What did he do?
I'll tell you guys in a minute. Let me just go through this in chronological order. You can take the journey with me. So the first day, some stuff went on. His one of his attorneys, Alina Habba, who's the one who's going on the press a lot, she got caught lying in court and got reprimanded by the judge. And now the New York State Bar is talking about pulling her license. So she might lose her career because she was lying in court, perjuring herself in court on the first day, live on national television, right, with the press there. And so that was stupid. Then, of course,
you just can't make this stuff up.
No. And then, of course, at the end of the day, right before the judge recessed for the day, they had one of the accountants on there, and the accountant was bringing up a tax return or something like that from like 2011. And the judge said, well, let's put a pin in that. I'm willing to entertain the idea that this evidence might be too old, right? Well, Trump's lawyer, Habba, took that to mean, the judge, because the judge made a ruling the previous week and said, hey, no, all these claims are valid and all these claims are true. He did inflate the prices. He's guilty of all that. The judge made a ruling right out of the gate. There's no debate on that. We're debating how culpable he was. That's all we're debating right now, right? That's all we're doing for court. Well, Trump's attorney apparently told Trump, this is probably this woman, Habba, no, that means he's throwing out 80% of the charges because he won't go back before 2014 because the statute of limitations, and there was an appellate ruling that actually wasn't a ruling. The appellate court just deferred it to this court, right? So she goes on Fox News to say, hey, the judge said he's throwing out the evidence from 2011, so he's throwing out 80% of the trial. So this is her on Fox and Friends First. And you know it's really good stuff if it's on Fox and Friends.
Oh my
Former President Trump headed back into a New York City courtroom
So
today.
this is the attorney, Alina Habba, on the right for everybody. So you can...
So notice there's one happy-ish looking attorney, and then there's the look on her face.
Yeah, well, she looks pissed. He's like, this guy got paid up front, though. He wouldn't do this case until the money cleared in his account.
You know what? I actually kind of can't blame him.
Well, Trump doesn't pay his lawyers. Rudy's in deep crap right now because he can't afford to pay his lawyers, and he's broke because Trump never paid him for anything. You know, Rudy Giuliani. So this guy, I don't think this guy cares all that much because I think he's like, I got paid. So I think to him, it's all kind of a joke. He knows it's a loser. I mean, you might as well have fun. Anyway, so we'll watch this.
A successful first day. Quote, good day at trial today as the judge will be honoring the appellate court's unanimous decision on the statute of limitations. This reduces the case by approximately 80%. See you in court on Tuesday morning.
Donald Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, joins us on set now. Alina, good morning to you. Back in court today. But first, let's talk about this decision by the judge yesterday. The former president left in a very good mood, saying that 80%...
No, I didn't catch that before. So she's doing court like in an hour. But she took the time to run over to Fox and Friends to talk shit. I don't know. I think I'd be in court getting prepped.
Of the case is now essentially dismissed. Is that true? And tell us the impact of this. This all has to do with statute of limitations.
That's right. So remember, originally we had a decision that came down from the appellate division in June, which dismissed Ivanka Trump. And in that same decision, they also addressed the fact that there's statute of limitations and there's limitations on years that they can go back. Well, that affects the value of the case that they're bringing against them, which, by the way, the case is should be entirely dismissed. That's obviously our position. This judge did not acknowledge it until yesterday when he said, you just spent the entire day wasting my time effectively. 2011 was what we looked at. That is way before, and that is the appellate decision, or the appellate division already decided that. So it was great. I'm really happy that he acknowledged it. It was a good step in the right direction.
Okay, so she's saying Trump's right. They threw out 80% of the case. Woohoo! Good for us, right? Hour later or so, she's in court. Judge is like, let me make this clear. I did not throw out anything. My ruling from last week still stands. He's still guilty of all this stuff. It's still admissible. What I was talking about is the evidence that this guy's presenting relevant. And there's no statute of limitations on evidence. He's like, but I didn't rule that I'm forgiving anything. He's still guilty of all this shit. So she goes on, says, oh, see, we got it thrown out. Then an hour later, she goes to court. The judge is like, okay, let me make this clear. No. That's how incompetent these people are. It just kills me. So then what happened on Tuesday right after that was Trump was talking shit about the judge's court clerk, saying she's having an affair with Chuck Schumer, who's in the Senate, right? Because Trump found a picture of her with a bunch of people, and Chuck Schumer was in the picture. And she met Chuck Schumer once. She doesn't, and so now she's starting getting the threats and stuff from Trump supporters. So the judge put a gag order on Trump, which I think was pretty light, but still, and basically told him, no, you can't be doing this stuff anymore, blah, 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 right? Well, that brings us to today, Thursday. Trump wasn't in court. He caught a plane back to Florida. But sometime this morning, he found the time to go onto his Truth Social, his little website, right? His version of Twitter, to tweet out, somebody should do something about this judge. Somebody should take care of this judge. He called the judge a racist and all this other shit. So he gets a gag order on Tuesday. Thursday, he's already broken it. And of course, he breaks it while he's flying back to Florida. But
he has just got to stop posting crap.
No, he's not gonna. He's gonna push him until they finally throw him in jail. Because right now the problem is that it looks bad for the entire judicial system, because now it's like, well, yeah, had this been you or me or somebody else, anybody else, we'd be in jail right now. Right? We'd have been found, in contempt of court.
Guilty 7 ways to Sunday.
And if you threaten the judge and you threaten the judge clerk, I bet you we don't get a hearing till Monday. So we'd spend all weekend in the tombs. But nope, because it's Trump. Oh, I'm going to give you a gag order. Don't do it again. And he does it again. It's like, well, now what are you going to do, judge? Because he's basically daring you. He's basically saying you don't have the fucking balls.
It sort of feels like, he's trying to steal the damn base and being like, can you catch me? Can you catch me?
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, I think the judges are worried that because it'll go Fox News and all the Republicans will be like, oh, it's political imprisonment, da 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 da, and they'll make a big deal out of it and try and send it up to a higher court and all this crap. And I think the judges are afraid that that'll happen. The Supreme Court will have to take it on or something. And the Supreme Court's already corrupt. So I don't know.
Corrupt and stacked.
Yeah. Anyway, what was the here we go. Oh, so here was the thing I think that was most funny. Trump, it's a judge trial, but they wanted a jury trial, and that was a big thing. Why didn't they get a jury trial? Well, here we go. Here's CBS News, and what was it? Their correspondent here is going to tell you why Trump did not get a jury trial, why he got a judge trial.
There is no jury in this case, why it's just before a judge, why that's the case, and how that will affect the proceedings in an eventual ruling.
John, always great to be with you. This is an unusual legal circumstance for former President Donald Trump. He's not facing a jury trial. Instead, it's a civil lawsuit trial, and he's being sued by the Attorney General of New York. But the Attorney General is making statements through her lawyers today. That Office of the Attorney General has a case against Trump that he defrauded people for years by making these valuations of his company. But ultimately, it's the judge in this case who is going to have final say. And in part, this is because the judge said today in the courtroom, and I was sitting just steps away when he said it, the Trump lawyers didn't request a jury trial in this civil.
So that's what happened. They forgot to check the box that said we want a jury trial. Can you believe it? And guess whose fault it is? She's right here being told by the judge, you didn't request a jury trial. That's why he's kind of trying to try not to chuckle, like, "Oh God, what a fucking shit show."
And you know what? You take a look at the look on this other lawyer's face here, and
Habba.
you know he's just like,
"Oh, this guy."
Thank God I got paid up front.
Yeah, I was smart.
Because this is just like, he knew it was going to be a shit show already. Then like the shit just got even stupider on ridiculous technicalities that should not have been an issue. Well,
this frame is worth 1,000. This is a photo worth 1,000 words, right? Because not only is she rolling her eyes because she realized she just fucked up and she just got humiliated in court, right? This guy's sitting there looking at the camera like, "Oh God, here we go." Day one and already, right? We're 10 minutes in.
He kind of looks, I mean, he's sort of half nervously smiling, but he kind of looks like he's like not breathing and holding his breath.
He's like, "Oh God,
that face you make when you're legitimately not breathing."
He's probably also thinking, I should ask for double the fee. The other thing that's beautiful about this is the woman right here behind him who's leaning forward in her seat. That's Letitia James. That's the Attorney General.
Yep, I know her.
And she's leaning forward because she's like, "What? What did the judge just say?" No fucking way. Because he'd have a better shot at a jury trial because it's a lot of technical information. He has a better shot that somebody doesn't understand it, or he has a Trump supporter in there that, rules in his favor.
Right.
In a judge trial.
Well, just like with this whole slew of people, you definitely have way stronger odds that a good number of them are just not going to understand all of it,
As opposed to a judge who hears these types of cases all the time. This judge understands accounting. He knows how, he understands GAAP and how all that stuff works. So this judge is going to understand everything that's going on, and he's going to make the sole ruling on his own. So, I mean, he's cooked. I mean, he was cooked before, but this is like really bad. Anyway. So his lawyers just get stupider and stupider. This is what happens when you don't pay professionals who work for you. We become less motivated. Or we're like, we'll do it, but double the fee up front. I know I do that. If I think somebody's really annoying and they want to hire me, I don't really do it anymore. But when I was desperate, it's like, I'll do it. It's like, yeah, I'll do it, but I'm going to charge you double what I normally charge. And people, why is it so high? It's an annoyance tax. That's what it is.
I say pain in the ass tax.
If I have to listen to your ass, I'm getting paid more. Well,
listen, even when you've hired somebody, you need to treat the person you've hired with the respect you want to be treated with, because otherwise they, hopefully based on their integrity, they won't screw up your whatever. But, they might want to charge you double. They might just quit on you.
They'll do the absolute
that.
Minimum. Anyway, we'll move on from this.